Gotta say, Astrogoth Ironhand is by far my favorite legendary lord for the Chaos Dwarfs. I just love this like dwarf mech suit that he's got on. It's a relatively simple design, honestly, but it's so cool. And he is very good too. His stats are incredible. He's relatively cheap base cost. He's also a caster lord. Yeah, he doesn't have any mounts, but obviously the mech suit gives him 60 speed, which is fantastic. Does count as infantry too, despite his size on it. I mean, he's probably about the same size as Grimgor, maybe. I'll have to do a size comparison another time. But flaming, magic damage, 60 attack, 50 defense. Overall, great stats. Armor piercing damage, has a mix of Lore of Fire and Lore of Hashut, which is nice. It means that he can get multiple stacking weaknesses to fire with Ash Storm along with Kindle Flame at the same time. Very strong, given Chaos Dwarfs fire weapons. Speaking of which, we've got 2 magma cannons, some blunderbusses, 4 blunderbusses, regiment of renowned Chaos Dwarf warriors who have lit their beards on fire. They've got blasting charges and frenzy, which is quite nice. Front line of laborers, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's basically it. Bull Centaur Taurak in the back alongside Astrogoth, that's right, Astrochad to be honest. And Bull Centaur renders as well. This time, Samurai Warriors against Great Book of Grudges, who has sensibly brought a caster and lord in one with the Herald of Slaanesh. Fiends of Slaanesh here. We've got Demonettes, Devoted Marauders. Slaanesh did get some balance changes. I'm not going to talk too much about that in today's video because the focus is on the Chaos Dwarfs, but we'll be getting to that in future videos. Demonettes over here, and very much a beautiful flanking force from Great Book of Grudges here, ready to swoop in from the forest. Couple of Furies, Heart Seekers, Elite Armor Piercing, and a couple of Hellstriders. Let's get things rolling as Slaanesh units. I mean, I think this is actually the appropriate response to Slaanesh, which is to just burn it with actual fire. That little buff going off there. Flaming Sword of Ruin to give flaming and magical damage. More importantly, the magical damage to cut through the physical resistance of Slaanesh, and these units are just getting gadded down. One of the changes was that the mark of Slaanesh gives less physical resistance. It used to be 10%, now it's only 5%, so not as important as it used to be, but certainly is very important. Frontline engagement not going great for Slaanesh. They're getting a little bit of mixed results, but a beautiful flanking charge here. Great Book of Grudges as he gets, especially the Heart Seekers in. They're just going to eviscerate these blunderbusses. Despite their decent stats, I mean, their unit is going to get shredded in a big hurry. Armor-piercing Furies of Slaanesh are also going to be very good in this situation. Hellstriders will struggle quite a bit more, especially given Astrogoth and the Bull Centaur fighting in that position. But looks like we're going to see a little hit of shades there. Yeah, Lore of Shadows on that Herald of Slaanesh. Chariot also can be very effective, although it is quite micro-intensive. It's also very squishy, potentially, and the Great Book of Grudges is in trouble now as the Bull Centaur renders are going to use their massive mass to block the Chariot in. Astrogoth also getting in here, getting some attacks, and it's kind of interesting the fact they've made some changes to Chariots to make them overall more effective and just make them work better. It's kind of interesting now. You'll see sometimes that they attack either like the front or the back of the Chariot because the count is 2 distinct hitboxes, I think. I could be wrong about that. I might see a dev to clarify it, but I believe that's how it works. Anyway, the Fiends are going to collapse back in, but not before the Herald was taken down, and that is going to be a big issue, despite the fact Slaanesh is kind of pushing on all fronts. They've got a lot of units routed off, and besides that kind of heroic leadership center, it's really not a lot. That was a nice Hellhammer, though, that I just missed there. Did some good damage to those Heartseekers, and not as much to the Fiends, but Heartseekers especially are being left in a little bit too long here. We'll maybe try and get them out, but at the same time, after taking that damage from the Hellhammer, it's going to be tough to recover them. The Magma Cannons also having a little bit of an issue here, but keep in mind they do have a splash attack with armor-piercing anti-infantry, only 17 melee defense, but with an 18 bonus versus infantry. Furies, the Demonettes, Marauders all count as infantry size, so they will be taking some damage from that, it must be said. But again, once these things can be attached to the actual trains, I really hope Creative Assembly can get that accomplished, because it would be very cool. I don't know how useful it would be in general in this matchup to take the trains, but maybe. Slaanesh doesn't have the best anti-large AP tools, but Fiends and Heartseekers, catching them out could certainly be dangerous. The Fiends here are going to make a stand against the Bull Centaurs, just absolutely slugging it out. Whips also got some changes. The Hell Scourges now have poison as a contact effect. Should make them a little bit better and more usable. I mean, a lot of stuff already has poison for the Slaanesh, of course, but we'll see. I don't know exactly. I have to double check the Hell Scourge, Hell Striders to see what they got, if anything, but anyway. Blazing Beards here, going to make their final stand as well. I say final stand, they're actually holding out just fine. Probably one of the best units, despite, look at all those debuffs too, from the Poison and the Soporific Musk, debuffing most of their stats. They are probably the best. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors, I should say, but these guys I think you should take in a lot of builds. They are very good, kind of mid to high tier infantry. Anyway, blunderbusses are coming back from mount, starting to get some damage out, but definitely in danger of being mopped up by Slaanesh. Despite that, though, the balance of power is still so heavily in favor of the Chaos Dwarfs because, although I kind of highlighted him in the beginning, he's been doing his thing, just running around on his mech with his Bull Centaur bro, absolutely smashing whatever he comes across. Astrogoth pulls out the victory there, so very fun replay. Nice, good scrap between these two. I have to say, despite the fact Great Book of Grudges is not a multiplayer content creator, not a regular player of the multi, he is quite good, I have to say. His micro's on point. This one especially, that flank attack was just beautiful. Absolutely crisp, and was very effective. Was able to shut down a few of the blunderbusses. In fact, all of them didn't pay for themselves, which is pretty important. These guys are extremely powerful, but again, they're relatively easy to shut down for certain factions, so to me, that says it's a very well-designed unit, and I'm actually a big fan of the blunderbusses for that reason. I mean, they can tear you apart in seconds, though, if you're not careful. It's definitely dangerous, but the magma cannons also seem to be pretty effective, which is something I didn't expect looking at their stats on paper, but they are quite good. Bull Centaur Renders also do a great job here alongside Astrogoth and the Taurok. Beautiful performance by the Blazing Beards, and then, yeah, Laborers are also here to be killed, and they are. But the mobile units for Great Book of Grudges did a great job. The Heartseekers didn't quite get enough, same with the Fiends, to pay for themselves, but did pretty decent, and I actually quite like this composition. Might go a tiny bit wider, or else change the Herald to another chariot. Maybe actually the Chaos Warrior Slaanesh chariots might be good now. I think they've been fixed, and they might be a solid pick, although obviously Chaos Dwarfs are less vulnerable to chariots than regular dwarfs. They might still be somewhat vulnerable. It just depends on how much cavalry you take. And in this matchup, I don't know. I haven't tested the hobgoblins to see how they trade the wolf riders against hellstriders. I'd imagine pretty bad, but remains to be seen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.